The motorsport world mourns the loss of Sammy Tanner. We send our thoughts and prayers to his family, all those in the motorsport world who got to know Sammy on a personal level, got to know the good nature of this man. Sammy was more than just a motorcycle champion. He was a really good person. He was a soft-spoken man. He did a lot of help in the motorsports world. He sponsored a lot of riders with the helmets. And Sammy was just a good person. Everyone who knew Sammy was blessed. The Midwest County Fair in Texas, they had these motorcycle events like a fairgrounds derby. And Sammy was a very big participant in this fair, and he was just a young boy. I think he was like barely 14 years old. Sammy Tanner was racing in the fair. Sammy was a little guy. He was barely 5 foot tall, and he weighed 100 pounds. That was soaking wet. Sammy was just a little tot, about 14 years old, racing in that fair. And he was a good rider. He was just born a good rider. And when he was in the fair, I got my friend right here. The announcer saw Sammy and said, "Hey, Sammy is a rock star. He has a record. So all you girls, the teeny bops, you want to go to the pits after the races? You can get Sammy's autograph. Give you a copy of that record also." Sammy was mobbed by those teeny bops, but he had no idea that the announcer had said this. And he went ahead and kind of was thinking like, "Oh yeah, I have my record. I'll bring it next week to the races." But Sammy didn't really have a record. So the girls all started to crowd around Sammy, and he was very popular because the announcer said Sammy was a rock and roll star. He had this incredible wit about him, and he was thinking, what am I going to do? So he got a pencil and he wrote on a paper a song, The Flying Flea. And then he went to a recording studio close by. He paid the guy a few bucks. He went ahead and recorded this song. For those of you that don't know, Sammy was a professional singer. Here's his song, The Flying Flea.
Motorcycle event of the century with the flying flea to the outside moving out the lead. Flat top for second, sideburns for third, and it's the flying flea, the boy to see jumping into us strongly. Oh, he's tracking today, just 5 feet tall, but it's complete. The flying flea flying across that finish line at #1 position. Your winner, the flying flea.
Well, I was born in a Texas shack. I took one look and said, "Send it back." No stonier lump ever lived in me than I'm known as a flying flea.
White leather pants and a leather coat, that's the only gear for me. Well, when I dig out, I'm a 10 feet tall. They call me the flying flea.
Oh, baby, I wouldn't trade that for the tallest, biggest black silk hat. And I live when they cheer for me, I feel very big. The flying flea.
White leather pants and a leather coat, that's the only gear for me. Well, when I dig out, I'm a 10 feet tall. They call me the flying flea.
Now the gun goes off, I better warn you, Jack. I'm gonna do my best to blow you off the track. Instead of making our history, so move aside for the flying flea.
White leather pants and a leather coat, now that's the only gear for me. Well, when I dig out, I'm a 10 feet tall. They call me the flying flea.
He was a businessman at an early age. He got a big stack of these records. He sold them after the races. He signed autographs on the records, and he sold them to the teeny bops. Ascot Park in Gardena opened in 1959, promoted by J.C. Agajanian, the famous J.C. And Sammy caught wind. He was in Florida that this park, this half-mile racetrack in California was going to open. Sammy made a collect call to JC and said, I'm Sammy Tanner. I would like you to pay my way, my expenses, my gas money from Florida. I want to come to Gardena. I want to race that half mile. So JC went ahead and agreed on this particular offer by Sammy. And Sammy went ahead and he won opening night, the half mile at Gardena. But he won the next 5 of 6 events, the main events at Gardena. And Sammy Tanner was crowned the king of Ascot Park. 1959 to 1966, Sammy, he won 4 Grand National Championships. One of the cool things I read about Sammy before is that he wore these white leathers for a while. And most of the riders, they wore black leathers so that people wouldn't see them when they were kind of in last place and kind of in the mix. But Sammy, he wore white leathers. Why? Because he was always in the lead. And Sammy wanted the people, the riders, to see him in first place. So he wore those white leathers. How cool is that? 1968, Dude Criswell, he opened Whiteman Stadium, the speedway track. He recruited all these TT flat trackers, and Sammy was one of those riders that Dude recruited. And Sammy was there at opening night at the Whiteman Stadium, and Sammy was a regular. Sammy converted from TT to Speedway. Sammy was a regular at Whiteman Stadium, and then when Costa Mesa opened in the summer of '69, yeah, Sammy was there also. He was a regular, but he had to decide, am I going to race Speedway or I'm going to race at Ascot? Sammy, he was successful wherever he went, from Ascot to Whiteman Stadium, and he was pretty good at Costa Mesa also. But Sammy just has gone down as one of the legends of the motorsport industry, and everyone reveres Sammy, respects him. Rest in peace, Sammy Tanner, an incredible motorcycle champion and even a greater human being.